Welcome to another episode of Ghosts and Stuff. I'm in Tonopah, Nevada at the Mizpah Hotel, where the lady in red had her life brutally taken in this very room. Tonopah, Nevada is a small mining town that really transports you back in time to what life was like in the Old West. Located near the midpoint between Reno and Las Vegas, most people just stop here to get gas or maybe stargaze since there's so little light pollution here. Every time I pass through Tonopah, the Mizpah Hotel always caught my eye. I just knew there was something about it that just stood out to me. After looking into it and reading about the history of the hauntings and the lady in red, I knew I had to stay here. Here is my stay at the haunted Mizpah Hotel in Tonopah, Nevada. There isn't much on the long stretch of desert highway on the way to Tonopah, just sunshine and sagebrush. But I guess that's how it is with a lot of these mining boom towns in Nevada. I arrived in the early afternoon, a little bit before check-in. As I walked through those double doors, I was full of anticipation and a little bit of anxiety. The chandeliers and the antique furniture really transport you back to that Old West feel. That's when I noticed that in the back of the lobby, there was a vault door that opened up to this small museum that kind of told the history of this property and had some gaming and mining and Old West memorabilia all throughout. This small museum really told the story of all the things that Tonopah and the Mizpah have gone through. I spent a lot of time in there just looking over all the objects and getting a real feel for the history of the Mizpah Hotel. Since I arrived in the early afternoon, I was able to explore some of the restaurants without disturbing any diners, and hopefully I wasn't disturbing any of the spirits that might still be dwelling in this place. I took a minute in the lobby and just soaked in the whole environment and the feel of the place. Soon it was time to check in, and I hopped in the elevator and I was on my way to the 5th floor. I was a little nervous on the first ride in the elevator since the property was so old and I know that this was still the original elevator. But it got me to the 5th floor. When I got off the elevator on the 5th floor, I was greeted with some more of that antique furniture and some creaky floors. I didn't really know where I was going, and it took me a little bit to find the Lady in Red suite. After a little searching, I found the Lady in Red suite, and I was ready to enter and see if the stories rang true. As soon as I opened the door and entered the suite, I noticed this glowing red light that was coming from the bathroom, which was a little creepy. As you push in a little further into the suite, you see in the middle of the room a bed that has these flowing red curtains from the ceiling above it. I have to say that the eeriest part of entering the Lady in Red suite was the wind was really high that day, and you could hear it whistling because the windows don't quite shut all the way, so you have this howling whistling sound as you first enter the room. The antique dress form that's in between the windows really catches you off guard because it kind of looks like a person, and I'm sure in the middle of the night it would freak anybody out if you woke up and you saw that standing there. There was a newspaper on the bed that tells about the hotel and things to do nearby, which I thought was a nice touch to try and capture the historical ambiance of the Mizpah. While I was exploring the room, I saw that the connecting room door had some scratch marks on it, which was very unsettling because what caused those scratch marks, and was somebody trying to get in or out? Overall, it was a nice room that had modern amenities but still tried to maintain the historical authenticity. This was my night with the Lady in Red. Tonopah, Nevada, known as the Queen of the Silver Camps. It was a silver boom town. In 1900, it made nearly $750,000 from silver and gold. And this is all because of Jim Butler. He first threw a stone at his donkey, not knowing that it was silver and what it would lead to. Between 1901 to 1921, Tonopah would bring in nearly $121 million from silver and gold mining. But it was missing something. It needed a great hotel, and the Mizpah Hotel was built. This place was state-of-the-art and offered many luxuries that didn't exist at that time. It had steam heating, it had electric lighting, it had an electric elevator. It was the tallest building in Nevada, being 5 stories tall. With all these young men working in these mines, bringing in all that money, there were plenty of people who were after those riches too. Mainly those who were practicing the oldest profession in history. These ladies of the night would offer their services to these young men, seeking their piece of the pie. Most notably was Rose, or the Lady in Red. She was a master of her craft. She owned the whole top floor of this hotel. But there was one John who turned to a lover, and he became very jealous and wanted her to get out of the trade. Unwilling to quit, he took her life by strangling and stabbing her right here in this room. But even though her life was taken too short, she still remains here, and she's been known to whisper in the ears of men or leave her pearls that were broken in the brutal attack on the pillow of guests who stay in this room. Is she really still here? Now there's also a lot of other tales of things that have happened in this town. Some say they hear children playing on the 3rd floor, or a pair of soldiers who still guard those halls. There's also rumors of bank robbers who lost their lives right here, and they are still seen roaming in the basement. I want to go and explore this whole property and find out if any of them are still here today. Tonopah is not what it used to be. It's definitely lost a lot of its luster. In 1911, there was a fire that ignited in one of the mines right here in Tonopah. It's known as the Tonopah Belmont Mine Fire. It took 17 lives of miners who were down in those shafts. 14 of those miners are still buried in the cemetery here today. People who walk through the cemetery say they hear someone whisper in their ears,
"We mined and died that day."
Do the spirits of those miners still live right here in town? Do they come into the Mizpah? I guess we're going to find out as we explore this property. As we investigate the Lady in Red suite right here, we're also going to be looking at the 3rd floor, all over the 5th floor, and hopefully we'll get to see this basement. Alright, let's go check out the Mizpah Hotel. Okay, so this is the 5th floor. This is room 502. This is where they said a lot of activity is. So, usually around this dresser. I'm just going to get some footage and see if we can capture something. Now, luckily, a lot of the floors are very small, but still a very nice hotel. I like that they kept the classic look, the historical look to the hotel. It definitely has modern amenities. Looks like a chute, like a laundry chute. But I'm gonna see if we can capture something. Don't see anything yet. It's definitely really creepy late at night with not a lot of sound. So the 5th floor, that's pretty much it. This is where the Lady in Red, she had most of this top floor, but she was a high-end lady of the night, so it makes sense that she owned most of this, but they also said this is where a lot of activity is. I'm going to head down to the 3rd floor, and I'm actually going to take the stairs. Now, I've heard from the people who work here that sometimes there's a lot of activity here on the stairs too, so we're going down to the 3rd floor. This is the 4th. We're going to go down one more. This is where there is said to be a lot of activity between the 4th and 3rd floor. In this stairwell. Oh, somebody's down there. Someone needs their computer. I think they said that this conference room, there was a lot of activity there, but I can't get in there because it has a key. But this is supposed to be the floor where people have heard children playing on this floor. They also said that there is an unknown soldier who might walk and guard this hall. Alright, well, don't see anything on the 3rd floor, so I'm gonna head back up to the 5th. I don't see anything. I'm gonna head back to the lady in red room and maybe try to sleep. Maybe something will happen. Maybe she'll whisper in my ear and I can tell you all about it. Maybe she'll leave me a pearl. I don't know. After exploring the upper floors of the Mizpah Hotel, a staff member was willing to give me a tour of the notorious basement. Now, I was excited to see the basement of the Mizpah because it usually isn't open to the public. Now, this place, it's just generally creepy. It's very dark and industrial, and there's remnants of the mining history of the Mizpah Hotel. Now, it's evident that the staff tried to set up some creepy scenery elements, but they don't really hit the mark. They actually make it look more kitschy and cheesy. I thought that the basement in general was creepy on its own, so I could have done without some of these design choices. Seeing the original foundation and piping really made the place feel authentic and very creepy. You could almost feel the weight of the whole building and history just weighing down on you while you're in that basement. Now, a few places really caught my attention down there, one of them being the old freezer. Now, this old icebox had a thick wooden door, and the story is, a lady trapped her 2 children in there, and they would never make it out alive. The same children that lost their lives in that freezer are the spirits that they say haunt the 3rd floor. This is the freezer that the woman left her children in. Part of the basement tour is just industrial, with a lot of storage and extra parts and the laundry down there. Now those parts, they're not very scary, but I could see working down there by myself, it would be very unsettling. I'm sure I'd be hearing all kinds of stuff that wasn't really there. Another part that was very interesting in the Mizpah basement was all of the mining equipment that was left behind. Underneath the Mizpah were a bunch of mining tunnels that bootleggers would use to move alcohol. Another story that the tour guide told me was about some bank robbers who were trying to get to an underground vault that the Mizpah had in the basement. In that room, 3 bank robbers came in there, took the money, and on exiting, one of them killed the other 2. Here is the underground vault where those murders occurred. Their spirits are said to still haunt that very basement.
Used to be a bank too, you know.
Overall, the basement was definitely the creepiest part of the Mizpah Hotel. Well, I just got done exploring the 3rd and the 5th floor and the basement and looking all around the Mizpah Hotel, and I haven't captured anything. I haven't seen anything. Maybe when I'm editing this video, I will see something in there, but I'm going to try to get some sleep, and hopefully the lady in red won't be whispering in my ear or leaving me a pearl or something or meeting me in the middle of the night. All right, guys, I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll check back with you in the morning. All right, everyone, good night. After an uneventful night at the Mizpah, it was time to wrap up my trip at this historical property. Well, that's it for my night here at the Mizpah Hotel. Nothing unusual happened. Had a little hard time sleeping, but that's not because of anything paranormal. It's just because I'm weird and have a hard time sleeping in new places, but it's definitely a beautiful hotel. If you're ever out here in Tonopah, Nevada, come check it out. All right, we'll go look at the footage now. The Mizpah Hotel is definitely dated, but that adds to the authenticity and creepiness of this property. The howling wind through the windows, or the creaking floorboards, or the silence in the hallways is just so unsettling and creates so much unease. By far, the creepiest and most unsettling part of this whole property was the basement. There was just something about it, the darkness or the stillness and quiet. There was so much pressure in the air. In that basement, you constantly get that feeling that you're not alone. Nothing paranormal happened during my stay or exploration of the hotel. These are a few items from the Mizpah Hotel that I brought with me. I like the touch of the old newspaper that gives some information on the surrounding area and the history of the hotel. And this is just a sleeve and some soap that I brought because I like to have little souvenirs from the location. If you ever stay at the Mizpah Hotel in Tonopah, definitely take the ghost tour and explore the whole property. You can even ask the staff and locals about their experiences at this property. They're very welcoming and very friendly. They answered all of my questions and allowed me to explore all the parts of the hotel. Feel free to ask questions, take pictures, and explore. Let me know if you guys think this hotel is really haunted by the lady in red or those bank robbers down in the basement. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching the video on the haunted Mizpah Hotel. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe. If you didn't, thank you so much for watching this long. This has been the Mizpah Hotel on Ghosts and Stuff. Bye.